Now, I'm sure I'm going to get a few chuckles out of what I'm about to say, but I got the link I'll be providing in the description so you guys can see it yourself or read it for yourself. But about a week ago, Sidney Powell was at an event, if you will, speaking, and while she was speaking, she talked about the fact that President Trump, former President Trump that is, could simply, basically, not simply, but basically could be reinstated. And that Biden is told to leave the White House now. Now, I know some of you are probably joking, and not joking, but you're probably laughing your butts off on that right now. And you're thinking, that's impossible. There's no way it could happen. But, here's the question. If it cannot happen, then why did she bring it up? Does Sidney Powell and others, in Washington right now currently, Republican-wise and even Democratical, those that supported Trump and believe that there's something behind the fraudulentness of the elections, do they know something we don't? Do they know something that the news, refuses to acknowledge? Whether it's Fox, ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, CNBC, Newsmax. Is there something that, everybody knows about but yet refuses to acknowledge? Could there be a possibility that Trump could be reinstated? Could he be reinstated? Now, she said that there wouldn't be no credit basically given if this was to happen, but that he could simply pick up where he left off or whatever the case may be. But here's the thing. I've been voting since I've been, in my late teens, late teens, if you will. And never once did I ever hear of a president or a governor, that lost the election to be reinstated, for a second term. Never once did I ever hear about them getting reinstated. Never once. And to hear about it now, especially with the presidency, as the main focal point, from someone like Sidney Powell, who has been known to be very controversial at times, and whether or not you believe what she says or you don't, to hear it come up now makes you wonder, do they know something we don't? I mean, this here, right, I'll tell you this honestly, this here, as we speak, with Sidney saying this, it makes you wonder if what some people say is correct. Is there a conspiracy? Was there a conspiracy against Trump to get him out? And if so, is there something that, again, is kind of like an ace up the sleeves to get him back in? Could this be something that could have been utilized years ago when questionable electoral results came in? Could this be something that, again, is only like breaking case of an emergency kind of deal? It makes you think. It makes you wonder. Now, like I said at the beginning, I'm sure a lot of you are getting a chuckle out of this. You're probably thinking, ha ha ha, oh, that's Sidney Powell, ha ha ha, she's such a joker, there's no way he can be reinstated. And that might be true, but again, does she and others in Washington know something we don't? Are they just waiting for that moment to pull that ace out of their sleeve and say, boom, Trump reinstated? It makes you wonder. It makes you think. Do they know something, like I said, that we don't? Because, like I mentioned, it's the first time I've ever heard about it. Not just for the presidency, but for any head electoral position, governor, mayor, you name it. It's the first time I've ever heard of it. And it just really makes you wonder, it really makes you wonder how suspicious, not just someone like Sidney Powell, but the rest of the Republicans who right now have currently blocked the January 6th commission deal. It makes you wonder how much they suspect, how much they're, really keeping an eagle eye, if you will, on the Democrats and mostly on Biden and Harris. I mean, as I mentioned before, my niece says she doesn't trust Harris because she feels she's up to something. That she has that smirk on her face and everything. Like there's something there that just doesn't add up. And of course, people will point out that when Biden made that speech from the Senate floor, that he acknowledged that historically, sitting side by side, we have a female lead head of that. We basically have sitting side by side, a female leader of the House, a House Speaker in Nancy Pelosi, and then next to her we have a Madam Vice President. Basically the two that would succeed Biden if anything was to happen. Of course, Harris would be afterwards, and if anything happened to Harris, Pelosi would be third. So when you look at something like that, of course, you're going to get suspicious that something is not right. Something just doesn't feel, on, but because it feels off, if you know what I mean. So when you put that all together, and then you kind of add in what Sidney Powell said, whether you believe what she's saying or not, it makes you wonder again, do the Republicans know something that we don't? Do they have an ace up their sleeve that the Democrats are aware of, but are probably confident they're not going to pull out ever, unless it's necessary? Or they don't think they will pull out because of the ramifications. It makes you wonder. It makes you really wonder because it's like, again, for a lot of us, this is the first time any of us, I'm pretty sure, has heard about, he could be reinstated. Okay, if that's the case, then what about all these governors and mayors that got, ousted from their positions of power, falsely or controversially? Why weren't they reinstated? Again, it's the first time I've ever heard of it. But like I said, it makes you wonder if the Republicans have an ace up their sleeve that, the Democrats are aware of, the news media is aware of, but they're not saying anything because they don't think that ace will be pulled out. It makes you wonder. But let me know what you guys' thoughts are. I'll provide a link down in the description, but let me know what your thoughts are on this whole thing. Do you think it's just a bunch of BS? How do you feel? Comment down below, and I'll talk to y'all later.